The meeting, and again, the meeting is going to be about 1.5 to 2 hours. Again, we want to do this in a friendly fashion. We're here to share and learn about Elementor. We'll have a lot of time to interact and share. So again, welcome. As you know, Elementor is a sponsor of this meetup. So I want to start by going around. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell me, with today's topic in mind, we're going to be talking to someone that's been very successful in business and uses Elementor as one of her tools to succeed. Tell us what you want to do with Elementor in terms of growing your business. And if you currently use it, why don't you describe it and tell us a little about yourself. I'm going to start with Jim. Hey, Jim, welcome back. How you been? Oh, you're muted. I think today everyone is muted and they don't realize it. All right, you're
okay,
good.
Thank you. Nice to see you, Joe, and some other familiar faces. I've been working with WordPress since the early 2000s, and the last 3 or 4 years been having sites built with Elementor for my clients. And so I'm here because I want to grow my business, and I think Elementor can help do that. My clients like it, and I'm interested to learn more. I'm located in Carpinteria, California, and looking forward to what's up next.
Awesome. Welcome. All right. Lee, go ahead.
Am I still unmuted?
Are you good?
Hi, everyone. My name is Lee. I've been a web designer for 25 years, ever since the days of, well, my days were HTML. So I used to build websites from the ground up from HTML. Then as soon as WordPress hit, I started working on WordPress, and I've been using mostly Visual Composer for the design aspect, which is now WP Bakery. Found that I just didn't like it anymore, especially, you know, with those pre-built themes. It was just a nightmare to keep up with all the updates and everything. So I finally ended up going with Elementor and their free theme. I forgot what it's called, the Hello theme. And I'm just finding that I'm building websites that are a lot lighter, easier to load, and a lot less issues than when I was using, you know, either a pre-bought theme with, you know, WP Bakery. I'm just finding, and my clients love it overall. And I even put together a course for them that I'm selling to them as a package, teaching them how to use Elementor as well. So that was a nice little addition of income. Did you chuckle this summer when the big story broke about WP Bakery having a major vulnerability? I sure did. Yeah, that's awesome. I know, and I was testing out, I'm working on an accessibility project for this competition. And one of the first things I did was test the speed of a number of different themes, and Hello was one of the fastest. Oh, it's awesome. I love it. Especially if you're a designer. Hello. I mean, I don't need to buy a pre-built theme. You know what I mean? I'd just rather design my own stuff. Awesome. Awesome. So. All right, Ernesto, welcome.
Hello, good morning, guys. I'm Ernesto. I'm new here, and I think I had, you know, like through college, I learned, you know, PHP and MySQL, and I have a lot of experience with Joomla sites, and I didn't know WordPress before Joomla, so I kind of like pushed like this freelancing, whatever agency, and then I started looking into WordPress, and I worked for a financial institution with, you know, WordPress and with WP Bakery. And then I think it was like 2015 or 16 when Elementor came out, and I was like just hooked from the moment I saw it, and it was like extremely, you know, easy to manipulate, you know, HTML content or blocks or even dynamic. That's when I started learning more and going into like YouTube and just making, like, if someone needs like a complex website or at least something that, you know, it's dynamic for their business. It could be a product or it could be just B2B or landing pages. Mm-hmm. I found it really useful. And I had the, what we call it, the agency model subscription with Elementor. And I honestly left my last job and I built a coronavirus website based on Elementor. But then I figured like I could have an open agency specifically using WordPress and Elementor and WooCommerce for, you know, future business or anything that can help, because I see a lot of future there.
What you said you built something for coronavirus. What was it? Was it it was a health related site or an informational site? That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I built it was a healthcare staffing company, and I can share the link. And it was built mainly from an agency, but honestly, I like I do the wireframing. I did like the user experience. I use, heat mapping, and of course I do know
You
a
use
lot of.
Hotjar?
I use one of them, yes, and then I use a Lucky Orange as well. But it was coronavirus, and it was mainly for healthcare staffing recruitment, so nurses across the U.S. and doctors and allied division as well. So I mean, it was kind of cool. But then I want to, build more websites based on, whatever they need, because I became something as an expert. But I know, there's always different templates or themes that I can work on. But I do love it because, it's a flexible and it's affordable for businesses as well. So, and then I'm focused on business to business, so marketing.
Awesome. And so in terms of business, what are you looking to do? You solely work for yourself, or how do you want to use today's topic or to improve
Great
what you're
question.
doing?
I think I want to use it for, expanding a little bit my knowledge and networking, and mainly, being the person maintaining the site, as well as if checking, there's anything that breaks on the back end. I'm kind of like, kind of learn a bit of programming, but I'm like focused into, like that is working and stable and reliable. So, I mean, I'm looking for a job, but at the same time, I want to build my own freelance or my digital agency, because I want to help more people across, digital landscape.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, welcome. All right, Steve, you've been working all night or?
Oh yeah, I was, and I just took a shower, and now I'm eating like dinner, lunch, whatever this might be, and I'm doing WordPress for 2011, and Elementor since 2018. Everything that Ernesto said, I agree with. It is beautiful. It's easy to do. And then Jim already said he's in it to grow his business. So me too. We just expanded to Thailand. So, with my guy over there, it's business is popping because they speak English. Well, I mean, they speak Thai, but their sites are both Thai and English. So they want the English. They want the English flair, the American Western flair to the website. So that's where we come into play, because he's a citizen here and in Thailand. So it's kind of unusual to be in California, like Los Angeles and Bangkok is kind of what we're saying, because he's in Bangkok. So I work pretty much all night long because we're getting that branch of the business running, and we use Elementor. Hello theme a little bit, mostly Astra. I've used some Ocean, but I like Astra. I got it pretty well dialed in for speed, and with the right CDN and the right caching plugin, we're doing great. So thanks. That's why we're here.
Awesome. All right. Hey, Dave. Hey, Tonisha. Welcome. We're going around doing quick intros, and we're almost to you. So perfect timing. Welcome. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect. All right, Dave,
Yeah.
Go ahead, introduce yourself, and we'll keep moving towards our guest of honor.
I'll keep it short then. I'm Dave. I'm a developer for many years, and I'm probably the only one in this group that has never used the page builder.
What are you doing here?
I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Yeah, Dave is part of our WordPress community here in Santa Clarita, and he's always there. He's at both of our meetups all the time, and he's coming at it from an experienced developer point of view. He builds themes from scratch using underscores, and so he's coming at page builders from a different vantage point. So he always has something really interesting to share. All right, Renee, you're last up. Go ahead, introduce yourself. I know we did some chat at the chatter.
Okay, I switched over to my computer. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. My name is Renee. I'm in Bakersfield, just about an hour and 10 minutes from where Joe in the Santa Clarita area is, right up the I-5. I'm a beginner. I learned a little bit about Elementor at the coffee shop before COVID. And so I'm just excited to learn from everybody that's in the community and just take it in today. Appreciate this meetup.
Awesome. Great to have you. All right, so that brings us to our guest of honor. So I told folks that you were somewhere in the world. So as I pull up your bio, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us where you're joining us from today.
I just checked into my hotel. I'm in Ghana now. I landed like an hour and a half ago.
Awesome.
Yeah, so my name is Tonisha Tagoe. I know I sound like I didn't know my surname just then, but I'm just trying to get the gallery view up. My name is Tonisha Tagoe, and I am in the dark apparently.
Yeah, it's the light right behind your shoulder. It's making you look interesting and mysterious at the same time.
I think this is probably a bit better. So forgive me, I've just arrived here, so I haven't navigated my way around the apartment yet. But yeah, my name is Tonisha Tagoe. I am formerly a film and television producer. That was up until, I mean, I still work quite a lot in terms of media, visual things, film, television, production, stuff like that. But for the last 9 years, I've actually been a lecturer and educator. I specialize in enterprise education and entrepreneurship. And I build curriculum for degree curriculum for universities. So universities that are seeking to start delivering an entrepreneurship degree, business management degree, and they would like it designed for them, you know, bespoke design. That's what I specialize in. But obviously I do teach and train in entrepreneurship and enterprise management myself. And I also run my own company called Apples and Pears Holdings. And that company exists to create tools for leaders to succeed. So I guess the interesting question is, how did you go from film and television production to teaching entrepreneurship and enterprise management? But actually every film and television production project is an enterprise. And I'm not going to go into how, but it is, you know, we start off with nothing. We have to create something. We have to hire a team. We have to get budgets together. We have to get investors on board. We have to put together massive marketing campaigns. You know, we run the whole project up until the point where we obviously sell our products on, we mass distribute, depending on the platform, and then we close it all down again. So it's that process is kind of like having many startups over and over and over again. So about 13 years ago, someone contacted me and said, Tanisha, could you teach entrepreneurship? And I thought, no, I can't teach entrepreneurship. I have been teaching film. At the time, I'd been teaching film for about 5 years, and then when he explained to me how similar it was, and I had to go, turned out it was actually very, very similar. And I found that I actually had more interest in training and sharing the skills of a producer, more generically, which allowed me to then just teach entrepreneurship in actual fact. As long as I didn't say film all the time, it was actually entrepreneurship. So it was perfect. And I've been doing that for quite a while now. And I've moved well up the ranks. I'm now a course director for one university in particular, but a curriculum for another 5. I'm going to put my sound on mute because I can hear things coming in. I'm not sure they are. I think it's people arriving.
Yes, that's unfortunate.
So I'm also now an Elementor leader. Crazy story about how that happened.
Oh, I know.
I had not heard of Elementor, but I was teaching as part of my, let me try this. Yes. But I was teaching as part of my, thank you, Jim, as part of my entrepreneurship training. One of the modules on one of the degrees I designed for university, the last module was called Starting an Online Enterprise. And what that did was it allowed the entrepreneurs who had gone through the degree, or the would-be entrepreneurs who'd gone through the degree, to actually have to start an enterprise in order to graduate. So, you know, usually degree programs have dissertations, but this particular degree program sat in what's called the work-based learning department. So the whole degree that we designed was encouraging the learners to actually do things. So they actually had to make the business plan and make the marketing and make all these things all along the way through the degree program. And then the final module was called Starting an Online Enterprise. And you couldn't pass a degree without an online enterprise. You didn't have to actually trade, but I had to be able to buy with a 100% discount code on the website during the marking period. We had to be able to do that. And over different semesters, you know, I didn't have any particular attachment to any website development program or process. and also we weren't sponsored. So on a semester to semester basis, I basically just tested them all out. I went from, I never tried Wix, I'm anti-Wix, but I went from, I can't remember any of them now because Elementor's absolutely, it blew me away in the one weekend, but I went through quite a lot of them. One of my favorites was something called Simplero at the time. But yeah, so one weekend in particular, I was again looking around for a new website building tool for the new semester cohort. And I came across this weird thing called Elementor. I really liked the drag and drop interface. I liked that I could build a website within a weekend because most learners, most university students only do their work in the last week. Okay, so no matter what tool I was ever going to build, I had to remember that in that semester, I was really trying to teach them about business model design, value proposition design, visual communication, calls to action, do you know what I mean? And all these different things. And they had to make a website. So I had the preference for any tool that you could kind of whip something really nice up in about a week or a weekend. And Elementor was the fastest and the best I'd found. But I'm dyslexic, so hence work-based learning being a part of what I do. So I don't really like to read documentation. So I went online because I thought someone must know something. And after I watched all the tutorials, I was like, I wonder if there's a group. So this started on Thursday, and by now we were on Sunday. And it turned out that there was an Elementor London Meetup being run by Mike, my former co-leader. And it was happening in 3 days. So obviously I put myself on the meetup, and then I put the notifications on, and I was like desperately watching. So that because he was full, had full capacity. And on the day, and it sounds like this, for me, I think Elementor is just a web tool for quite a lot of people, but I think the journey through which I came to meet it was all really thrilling. And that probably added to why I love it so much. But literally an hour before the event, Mike announces on the meetup that there are 3 spaces available. I was nowhere near ready and nowhere near the place. And I was like, right, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Obviously I was not, I was there in an hour, but I didn't want to lose the spot and meet people. So I arrived late. And it was a really nice group of people. At that time, the meetups were really small. They're in WeWork in London. WeWork was only allowing meetup partners to use a space up to 10 capacity. So it was like literally 10 of us. Just speaking to the other users, I literally was able to resolve all the other questions I had. You know, how do I make this and how do I fix that? And because I had to teach it in a few weeks. And I really liked it. So I just said to Mike, you know, thank you so much for allowing me to join at last minute. If you need any help with the meetups, I have a massive space at WeWork, and it was like, you know, another area called Paddington, but down the road, 30 capacity. And I was like, I'd be more than willing to host your meetups just so I can sit in them and learn more about Elementor. He took the offer, and we became co-hosts, and that was it. And then every month he got a space for free. They got my hospitality, and I do go all out. I do Elementor Cupcakes and things like that. So they got my hospitality, they got loads of food. He got a massive free space, and I got to network with Elementor lovers. And that, I think that was last April. No, it was last May. So yes, we just were doing that for a while. Mike then ended up leaving me in the beginning of lockdown. He furloughed himself. Because he wanted to focus more on his business. You know, once the coronavirus came up, I think a lot of people were really, really worried about what was going to happen with their businesses. So it was fair enough. But we had our first birthday in April. Ben Pines came along. And since then who's our first like major guest. And since then we've been trying to do quite a lot of guest appearances on there. So when we were running the Elementor meetups before, they were always all about Elementor. And up until Mike had left, I was okay with that. But then at the point where I was now the leader, I'm not so much of an Elementor fanatic that I can host Elementor events over and over and over and over and over and over for years. Like I'm passionate about the tool, but because of what it does for business, because of what it offers the people who use it, because of what it offers, you know, to your clients and things like that. So I instantly changed it into being more focused around how to build a strong business using Elementor, whether as a web agency, as an independent entrepreneur, whatever. Just as long as you know how to use Elementor, how can this thing make you money? And I didn't realize it at the time, but it turns out it's been quite popular. So I've ended up doing these little guest appearances at Elementors for quite a while. But currently, for the last 3 months, we've been doing hackathons with Elementor. So in a one session, we build a web page. All our attendees arrive. We've got the next one coming up on Wednesday. More than welcome to join. Attendees arrive. We split into groups, give an intro for about half an hour. We split into groups with one challenge leader in each group, and only that person uses the Elementor buttons to click, and everyone else has to advise on what should go where. We don't do it for design principles, we do it for the communication of the business model. And what I really want to talk about today is actually that, how to use Elementor, not just as a tool to, put a banner there and pick great color buttons or follow the instructions that the client thinks they want, but actually how to use Elementor to really communicate a business model, or at least communicate in a way that means revenue will be generated on a visit or through a visit. And I think the reason Elementor is really good for this kind of discussion is because with enough practice and after enough time, and again, this is not as long as, coding or anything like that, but after enough time, you can become so comfortable with using Elementor itself that you can actually think about business, right? And you can think, why have I put this banner here? What is the banner doing? Is it communicating the value proposition, right? Is it discussing and highlighting our key partners? Is it informing our clients of our key activities? Is it pushing one of our revenue streams? Like, is it how we let the client know what our target market is, or how we let the client know that they are a member of our target market? So then it becomes less about banners and things like that and blocks, and more about what am I trying to say? And then picking that design to fit that and to make that more appropriate. So that's really what I wanted to talk about today. I didn't know, how long do I have, Joe, by the way?
Hey, you have as long as you want.
Can't hear you, you're muted.
Ooh, sorry.
The classic Zoom line, you're muted. It's not a Zoom session if someone's not muted.
Uh-oh, can you folks hear me?
Okay, hold on, no. Go for it now.
She turned up for volume, remember?
I remember,
Oh,
yeah.
because I was like, I was talking to you. I was saying things, but it didn't seem like you could hear me. So yes. So
okay,
I was saying, you can have as much time as you need.
Okay, but I mean, how long is available? So I know how to.
Well, we generally have, we do 1.5 to 2 hours. So you have
how long,
an hour and a half too, if you want.
1.5 hour. All right. So should we just have a go at doing one of my little challenges?
Like 1.5 hours, right? Like 90 minutes. That's what he's saying. Half an hour. Yeah.
And I was going to say, in terms of what you're doing, I don't know if you want to hold the questions to the end or how you want to handle it, but it's all on you.
Well, what I'm thinking is the challenge thing I just discussed with you guys. I would like to kind of have a go at doing that with you, and that's just us talking through business model and how I then kind of encourage thinking about how to like manipulate the tool to build and communicate that. Would you like that?
Oh, that sounds perfect. And you were mentioning when you were just talking about that, I sort of think of things in terms of user experience, and it seems like it's kind of closely aligned with what you're talking about. So I'm eager to hear what you have to say. Exactly. I also dropped in the chat a link to your meetup as well. So it's all yours.
Thank you. All right. Exactly, it is a little bit like thinking about user experience, but user experience slightly in a different way. More like, I'm gonna share screen in a moment. Give me a second.
Yeah,
but more just
your co-host, so go for it.
Okay, thank you. More thinking about the user's personal experience of their actual own life, irrelevant to us. All right, so thinking this person has arrived at this website because they have their own ambitions and requirements and things like that, and they don't care about our flashy banner. They really don't. They don't care about it unless it's telling them something that's going to help make their life easier, specifically in the area that led them to the website in the first place. So yeah, it is a bit like thinking about user experience, but it's more thinking on behalf of the user from a really selfish perspective. So using that user's original selfish desire for arriving at the website. So let me just open these two things and then I'll share screen. So the tools I'm going to use to discuss this are the same tools that I use when I do the intro in my event. So if you do turn up to the event, yes, it will be a replay of the same thing, but I repeat it every month. And a lot of the attendees that have been to it a few times they really enjoy that because it rings home more the more you hear it and then carry out the activity. So these two tools
Can I ask you
Go
one
on.
quick question? Should we take notes, or how do you want us to interact with you as you go along here?
No. We need to talk to each other.
Okay, perfect.
You can take notes if you would like, of course, but I can see that you're recording, Joe. So I assume that if people really need to go back for notes, they can have that recording. But in this moment, it's more just a thinking and talking out loud together kind of thing. So my sound is back on. So if anyone feels like just asking a question, go for it. I will open up the chat now, so that if any questions get dropped in the chat, I can see that too. All right, so this one here is called the Value Proposition Canvas. This is a tool by, both of these tools are by a guy called Alex Osterwalder. Here he is. He's a great guy. I've met him before. He's really, really cool. If you get a chance to go to any of his talks in real life, you'll really enjoy it. But there's also lots of YouTube videos by him explaining his tools himself. There's Alex. That's how to spell his name. I'll pop it into the chat if anyone wants that. So Alex runs an organization called Strategizer. And like me, he's a business lecturer and entrepreneurship educator and curriculum developer. And he created these two models. I love them. This one is called the Value Proposition Canvas. Okay, we will get to Elementor, but it will happen all the way through these discussions about business. So in terms of talking about the user experience, as you mentioned earlier, Joe, what we think about in this case, we think about one exact user. So thinking more about customer personas. You might have heard about that before, some of you, right? Customer personas, but just, you want to pick one person. You want to give them a name, an age, right? You want to give them a job. You want to think about what they do. And when we come here, we want to, this circle, we focus all on them, their selfish desires, their needs, the things they need to do. This job thing doesn't necessarily mean work. It means, for example, if you decide that yours is Tonisha, 35, entrepreneur and parent, then you think to yourself, okay, on an average day, what does Tonisha need to do? On an average day, I need to check in on my son. I had my son very young, so he's 18 now, and he's in London. I'm checking on my son, make sure he hasn't like broken my house, because he's been independently living since about August by his request and not been traveling with me. So check in, make sure he hasn't broken the house. I need to do other adult things like pay the bills in the country where we're based, but I'm also traveling, right? So I need to make sure logistics are organized. I need to book flights. I need to make sure my visas are okay, my passport's not running out. But I also run my own business, right? So I also need to have meetings with my staff throughout the day and check on my clients, check on my stakeholders. And I also work for institutions. So I work with universities. So technically, in that capacity, I'm not necessarily an entrepreneur. I have to use an employee's mindset, even though I'm a contractor, right? So I have to think, okay, right, I actually have technically 5 bosses, and I have to do this, this, this. And then as a person, I'm thinking constantly about career development. I think, okay, I need to think about what I'm going to be doing this time next year, how I'm going to be doing that. And think revenue streams, how am I going to increase those revenue streams? I'm also doing a PhD. So I have to also think about that, make sure I find time for it. So these are my jobs, right? And I've also decided that I'm going to pop into Joe's event literally within 2 hours of landing off of a plane. So we think on an average day, what are this person's jobs, right? Now, I've arrived at your website for something. We'll decide that I've arrived at your website because I need to, there goes my son. Kids are so perfect, perfectly timed. Talk about them. So I've decided I'm coming to buy furniture, office furniture, work from home furniture. Okay, so you are building a website for your client who has a furniture shop, or it's you're building it for yourself. So I have all these jobs that I've just listed. Notice how none of those jobs had anything to do with furniture. Because technically the jobs, it doesn't matter about what you do in your business. We'll think about that on the box side, where it's the value proposition. At this point, we're just thinking, what does the customer have to do? All right. So I have to do all those things, and I need work from home furniture. I need good lighting for Zoom calls. Okay. So I need to find somewhere to do this. I go online and I start researching, and I'm looking for that. So we add that now to my list of jobs. Now, pains at the bottom is, what are the pains and struggles that I experience regularly when I'm trying to do this thing, which in this case is get work from home furniture and good lighting. Usually it's that I can't actually see the furniture, right? I can't touch it, can't feel it. I don't know if the texture is going to be any good. I don't know if the material is going to be any good. So I've got all these pains and these things are ringing true in my mind all the time. How do I know I can trust it? How do I know it's not a scam, right? Because there's a lot of these new websites come up with like the best prices and you think, how? Right? So I've got trust issues going on here. I'm thinking, can I pay with my card? Can I return it? Right? I don't know if I can return it. And then there'll be the anxieties that come with the bad experiences I've had in the past with buying anything online.
Yeah, like you mentioned paying with your card. How about should I pay with my card?
Should I pay with my card?
Yeah, like I don't want to pay with my card if this is in, you know, some like who knows where. You know, it could be like some place that doesn't even care about it. You know, it might be a country that wasn't there yesterday. You know, they just had a coup and now it's some new place. Like not good, right? That's my biggest concern. That's my biggest concern when I buy online from a place that's not in America. I mean, I know this is horrible because, you know, I'm just being an American asshole now, but I mean, I'm telling you, like, that's what I think. Like, if it's not like pretty much someplace I could drive to, within the continuous 48, I'm not really all that excited about laying down my credit card information.
Exactly. And I'm the same no matter where I am in the world. So I'm always moving, but I don't want to, if I'm in Ghana, I'm buying from Ghana. Like I said, I want to be place. This is where I am. This is where I'm buying it, and I'm really well known like for buying here. Exactly, and then shipping it to London. All right, because I'm here, I can see it, I can touch it. Right. And it's sometimes people will be like, oh, you've got things from all over the world. Oh, it's so luxurious. It's not really. I've just got OCD about using my bank card on the internet and getting scammed. That's it. And so good points made. So we need to think about all these different pains that the customer has, these anxieties that they have when they try to do what we want them to do on this particular website, right? Not what we want them to do, but the pains and troubles they might already have in their mind and have experienced when they try to do this thing. So if you sell glasses, if you sell training, if you sell anything, even if you don't sell it, if you give it away for free, people still have trust issues with certain things, right? So you must be mindful of that. But then the gains, so the gains up there, it's not what they gain when they buy the chair. So like if I bought the best furniture, the gains aren't the furniture. The gains are the byproducts of being able to do what I need to do. So if I'm able to get this great lighting, then I can always rest comfortable when I've got a Zoom session, knowing that this session is going to go well. I've got great lighting, right? If I've got a good chair, I know that I can sit comfortably. If I've got a good table at a good height, I know you can see me. But then that's not even it. The gains become even more because I can then come across as a confident presenter. I can feel good at my job. Maybe I can get promoted. Maybe I'll get more invitations, right? Maybe my audience will feel really good because they'll feel happy that they can see me. So the gains are the byproducts. And if my audience feels good and everyone else feels good, that means I'll get more money. So I'll make more money, which means I'll have a happy family. So this is what we want to think about for that customer. And these are things we can really communicate while also telling them we sell chairs. All right. And this is where I think Elementor becomes really, really good. Okay. So we'll talk about how to communicate that, but I'm sure you're already thinking about that right now, right? If I'm worried and anxious about paying online, you should just go ahead with a banner, talk about the trust that other customers have in paying with you guys and buying with you guys. Have a testimonial slider, really fast and efficient payment process. And I got my delivery on time. Love them. I recommend it to all my friends and family. The best process, the delivery guy was so lovely, right? Because if we have that in the banner, then we get rid of that pain and that anxiety straight away, and the client's going to feel more confident to scroll. A lot of times the customer and us as web designers, we think about just tell them the sofa is amazing because they want the sofa. They don't want the sofa. They want to know they're not going to get scammed. That's what they want. When they get the sofa, they're not going to be happy with the sofa. What they're going to be happy with is having all their friends around, right? So we want to promote other things, the byproduct of the sofa, grateful get-togethers, grateful family gatherings and stuff like that. Not, lovely and brown and cheap price. Okay, we want to think about those gains and those pains, and we want to communicate pain relievers, as you can see on the box, and gain creators that comes out of being on this website, going through this user experience we design and actually buying from us. So that we're building trust. Like the statistics say that customers, will visit or see your products about 7 times before they buy. And in reality, the reason they do that is because it takes that many times for you to tell them that they can trust you. They already want the thing they want. They're not coming to you because they were lost and confused on Google. They're coming to you because they know what they want, or Google knows what they want, because the internet is so advanced now. No one is anywhere they don't want to be. Okay. So the point is, the only reason they didn't buy from you the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh time, because you didn't prove that they could trust you. And so they had to stalk you to find these confidence boosting pain relievers that you have embedded and game creators, because you just didn't say it to them. You kept going on about this sofa. Yeah. So that's what this value proposition canvas is about. Like the pain relievers. What pain relievers do we bring? Like we mentioned, efficient delivery, really good payment service, you know, or even things like we hold your money in an escrow until you sign the delivery receipt, you know, like Amazon does, or one-click purchase like Amazon. Amazon's one-click purchase, the reason it works so well is not because you can trust that you won't get scammed. It's because one of the pains people have with shopping online is filling out long forms. And actually, they get over not being scammed because they don't have to fill a long form. So somehow, even they did get scammed, it feels like less of a scam because it was a one-click scam. You know what I mean? And then Amazon has a backup where they'll speak to you with customer service and they'll deal with you really quickly. So again, okay, I click one to, you know, buy, and then people buy, and then, you know, the process goes through. I get notifications all the way through the supply chain downstream till I receive it. Et cetera, et cetera. But if I have a problem, Amazon lets you know straight away, they'll actually come back and pick it up. And you can drop it so many places. So Amazon doesn't sell products. Amazon sells pain relievers and game creators. They don't even, because most of the time it's other companies selling on Amazon. But what they sell is the fact that buying through Amazon will remove so many pains that you normally have, right? And buying with Amazon and being an Amazon Prime member will give you all these other gains you know you secretly want, like Amazon Prime, you know, a 1 hour food delivery. You're trying to buy a sofa. What does 1 hour food delivery have to do with sofa? What does Game of Thrones, as a, you know, on Amazon, what does it have to do with my sofa? But somehow I buy Amazon Prime to one-click purchase, and I'm like, you know what the good thing is? I can also watch Game of Thrones. Yeah. So this is the kind of thing that we want to use Elementor to do. I'm glad you're loving this, Steve. You're like, yes. This is what we want to do. We want to use these skills that we have with Elementor, but we want to go a bit further now. I want to think, look, as a web creator, I have a purpose. I'm doing this for a reason. I'm here to make money, right? And this is where we move into the other side. Thinking about your business is the other model that he has. It's called the business model canvas. Now, I also like this because it's a one-page approach, but this one is more thinking about your business model. So you're in this game creating these websites to relieve pains and create gains, usually for entrepreneurs, all right? What you will do now is you'll be able to take your clients through this conversation, or at least take yourself through the conversation on behalf of your clients. So you can think to yourself, well, you know, Tanisha's told me to put a big picture of the sofa up top, and I get why she wants that. But what is it communicating to the customer in terms of helping relieve their pain or communicating any extra gain? What is it doing? How can I add something to this to create that feeling? It might be thinking about maybe that sofa should be in the living room already, right? So it should already look like it's in a comfortable living space, because again, people think, well, will it fit in my environment? So maybe instead of just having the sofa on a white background, let's just actually do a shoot and just see, or like superimpose with Photoshop into an environment. And then obviously we need to think about other things people worry about. How many people can fit on the sofa? Let's just pop a few people on there, right? And it's like, let's fix these issues. She gets her sofa, but really the customer gets to see quite a few people can sit on this. Friends and family will love it. You'll look great. Everyone's going to think your house is wonderful. And what is it? It's still one slide over the sofa. Okay. So you're going to be able to do that for your customers for their sites. But more importantly, I want you to be able to think about that for your customers. Same thing. So people come to you as a web creator. They have the pain. What are the pains they have? They think what their pain is they think they need more money, right? But what their pain is not that they need more money. What their pain is that they need a better relationship with their client. They need to learn how to communicate better. There's a communication gap between them and the person that they're trying to receive payment from, right? That is the real pain they're experiencing. A website is not going to fix that. A business card is not going to fix it. The fact of the matter is they just don't know how to communicate, maybe because they're not thinking about the client. A lot of entrepreneurs start a business because they think about themselves. They think, oh, I want to do this. I think it would be great to do this. They haven't defined the real problem. right? Or they have found a problem, but it's their problem. No one actually told them, hey, Tonisha, I'd pay like £5,000 if you could fix this problem for me. No one ever said that. Then I get up and I'm like, I'm going to charge £5,000 to fix this problem. And everyone's like, in fact, even worse, no one's even Googling it. No one's even looking for it, right? So what is the point in doing that? So a lot of entrepreneurs do that. And because they do that, and again, it's not bad because a lot of entrepreneurs are successful with doing that. But because some do that, the ones that usually end up coming to a web creator or web designer and say, look, I need a new website, I need to increase my sales. They're the ones that don't think about that customer profile. They don't think about the jobs that person has. They don't think about communicating with them. They don't think about relieving their pains. They don't think about adding extra gains to the product and service list. They literally have a website full of products and services. That's it. That's all that's there. Okay. So you can then start to talk to those clients and say, okay, in your consultation, say, right, great. And who are we making this for? And what's the kind of person that usually buys? Who are the customers that have bought from you before? Have they ever complained about anything buying on your site? Did they ever share any complaints of experiences they had before? Did they ever tell you why they liked you buying from you over buying from someone else? You can start to harvest these stories so you can help them to communicate that. But also for your business, you can start to think to yourself, right, which kind of person would come to me? What are the problems they're having? Right, clearly they need a website built. Clearly they need it built quicker. Clearly they need it to be gorgeous straight away. They need it to be able to edit it themselves as well. They would really like that because they probably had a web designer build something for them and then disappear. Or even worse, stick around but refuse to give them the login details and insist that they get paid for every single extra typo they fix, which the client is sure they didn't have a typo in the first place, right? Exactly. So they have all of these trust issues. So how can I communicate better that you won't get these pains with me, right? And then the gains that the customers think they want, how can I communicate better that these gains come from working with me? Question, how do you test the effectiveness of your value propositions on site? Well, it would be instant because if you communicated the pain relievers and the gain creators, and I recommend doing that visually, but also sometimes with text, right? But if you communicated that across, you'd usually find that you don't have any problems. I'm going to try and log in to one of our challenge sites that we made. I just admitted someone. Sorry, I don't know if I was allowed, Joe.
That's fine. It's the same person. He's having trouble. I'm trying to communicate with him. I'm about to block him. But this is an interesting point. So once you develop your value propositions and you put those up on the site, how often do you change it? Are you pretty set on, like, once you go through the process, you're pretty defined in what you want, or how often does that change?
So that page was taking a little while to load, so I just loaded my site just in case. You change as often as you need to. For example, one of the things that I say now, like one of my things that I say now is, I'm like, are you in an abusive relationship with your business? Are you using your anxieties and fears to stop your business from flourishing? If so, I think we should talk. Go for it, Steve. You're muted. You're muted.
What did you say? You ask them if they're abusive relationship with their business and if their anxieties are keeping them from flourishing. What do you mean?
Well, think about it. So you have this business. How many? Okay, you have this business idea, right? How's it going for you? How's using Elementor going for you now? How confident are you to charge? Does anyone here charge $10,000 for their website development? Good. Anyone else? See, Jim is in an abusive relationship with his business. Are you charging more? Are you charging more, Jim? See, okay, so this is obviously comedy, but there is a point in it. Obviously, I'm not saying you are in an abusive. Let's think about this. Let's pretend that your business was a person, right? Let's pretend your business was your 3-year-old son. I don't know if you have one. I'm just pretending it's a 3-year-old son, okay? And your 3-year-old son comes along and he's like, I want to build a car. And you're like, come on.
Lego car?
Exactly. You're like, do you mean a Lego car? Like, no, a real car. I watched YouTube. I want to build a car. And you're like, no, let's get Lego. Let's start with a Lego car. Okay. Logically, that sounds okay, right? Because you're thinking, well, they can't build a car. But, and I just thought of this now. Oh wait, let's see, child builds car. And literally, like I said, I've just thought of this now. Look, there's kids building cars everywhere, even in third world countries. So the very idea that idea came through and the initial thought was negative and a put down and to distract and divert is exactly the epitome of being in an abusive relationship, right? Like, why would you think that the child would not be capable of doing that? And then to give them the perspective and perception that they can't, and then to continuously do it and just not allow them to have a go, right? Now, let's say, for example, with your company, if you don't charge an excessive amount, that it's popped in your mind before, or you've even looked at someone else doing it, you're like, come on, that's Elementor. How are you going to charge 10,000 for using Elementor? You do it in a weekend. Come on, right? But imagine if you're saying it to the child, how are you going to charge 10,000? That company is your child. You're raising a business, and the business has every right to flourish on its own if it wants to, and every right to charge what it wants to charge. And your role is a caretaker and a facilitator and a communicator, because you can speak where the company can't. And the same with the child wanting to build a car. You could go and ask other adults and say, look, my son randomly wants to build a car. Have you ever heard of any kids building cars? Really heard of that? Okay, cool. What, with Lego? No, actual cars? Okay, well, so what do we do? Oh, I can buy a car kit? Okay. Oh, wow, that's expensive. Are there cheaper car building kits? Okay, cool. Like, are there tutorials for this? Do they come with trainings? Does it drive? Can it have an actual engine? How long does it take? About 2 years. Okay. What, can I buy it in parts? All right, cool. Okay. I'm going to go through this with my son. It's going to take a couple of years, but you know what? We'll end up with a car. That's what you should be doing with the company. You know what? It will take a couple of years, but we'll end up with the client that pays it. So the advert should be out already. You should already have that outlandish thing that your company wants to do. You should always already have that. That's how I feel with businesses, because it does take a while, for you to build the confidence to do it, for other customers to see it, for you to learn to market it correctly, et cetera, et cetera. So why are you not doing it? It's just because you don't believe in it. You don't believe in your company. You don't believe in it doesn't matter if you're the web designer, right? That's not what the point is here. Because if you communicate effectively to someone, one person will pay $10 and another person will pay $10,000. Right? Because it's never about you or Elementor or your skills. It's always about the fact that this money allows them to relieve pains and gain the gains that they want. That's what it's about. They're not paying you as a web designer. They're hiring your company or you to be able to relieve these pains and get these gains. So, are you in an abusive relationship with your company? You are, aren't you? Using your own fears and anxieties to hold it back from flourishing. We should talk. Okay. Now, that's my thing that I've been saying quite recently. And I've got that on my social media mostly. But every now and again on the website, which I know your original question, Joe, was about, how we communicate these things. But I do say that you should. I think every now and again, if you really sat down and thought about it, there's new propositions, new questions, new thought processes that you can embed in your client's mind that can help them really think about the pains and gains that they have, and gains you could give. In fact, what I just said alone lets you even know as a person, or it alerts you as a person to pains you didn't even realize you had. That's what companies like Apple and Samsung do. They're always telling you that you didn't know you wanted this new iPhone 12 that doesn't come with a charger. You didn't know you don't want a charger? What are you talking about, Jim? You don't want a charger? Come on. Chargers are so like 2019, huh? So you can think about your client, think about them in this selfish way. And that's how I came up with that question. I was thinking, what is the real pains and anxieties amongst my clients at the moment? And what is the real pains that my clients have at the moment? And it's anxiety, because you know what? It's a really dangerous time to be trying to start a company. It's a pandemic. People are trying to save money. They're bootstrapping. Companies are firing people left, right, and center. But that's fear. That's anxiety. A company can't have fear and anxiety. It's an entity, which means that if the companies these startups are decreasing, or people are not pushing their startups as far as they can, they must be imposing their own anxieties on the capabilities of their startups. So you could very easily think about your own customer in that way, put yourself in their shoes, and you could definitely come up with a few things that I think would help. Yes. From host to everyone, I needed to respond. The rings are interrupting our speaker. Please let me know what the issue is. I have turned my sound off for that reason. But
No, that was to the guy that keeps trying to get into the meeting. I sent it to him directly in the waiting room. So I'm sorry.
Oh,
you
okay.
got that.
Oh, waiting room. Sorry. Oh, yeah, I can see it. That's why. Sorry.
Yeah.
How do you collect the feedback from customers? What do you find most effective? Talking to people. They're people. Just ask them a question. And if you want to target a 35-year-old mother of an 18-year-old, which is so rare, find them. Find them. Yeah, just find them. Because you need to talk to them. You need to know what they think about what they've got to do. You need to know when they arrive at this touch point, what is already on their mind, right? Because if you don't know what's on their mind, then they're not going to listen anyway. Imagine if I approached you, like, it's convenient that we're all here for Elementor and you know we're going to talk about business and how to build your business with Elementor. Otherwise, if you didn't know that from the marketing and I just started talking, you'd be like, why am I here? What is this? And we do that so often in terms of web development or web design, where people arrive at the website and they're thinking, why does it say that when I'm here for something else? Okay.
And people decide right away whether they want to stay or not. So you have to catch them just like that.
Exactly, because people are selfish, right? And rightfully so. And all we need to do to be great entrepreneurs is just think with their selfish perspective. Yeah, think selfishly on behalf of the client. So what the most recent thing I've got on my website now, so that's what I said to you, I've got on my social media, my Instagram, and that's been really doing very well for me. But right now, I've got this on my website, which is I'm an award-winning, the different things I am. And then I literally say, are you ready to start building something, but don't know where to start? What does that represent in the business model canvas? What am I thinking about there? In the value proposition, sorry, that we looked at. Do you remember here? So are you ready to start building something new, but don't know where to start? What am I talking about?
Somebody's got an idea, but they don't know what to do first.
Yeah, but I'm talking about their job. They've got a job they need to do and they've got pain linked to it.
Yeah, you're going to show them the gain. You're going to show them some gains because you're going to show them some pathway to relieve those pains.
Exactly. The next sentence says, using the science of creativity, I guide leaders through 3 key stages. Ideation, which is for idea, product, and service. Validation, checking people will pay for it. On that line, I'm not even using jargon. I know people just want the money. That's what they want. They want to get paid. So checking people will pay for it. Implementation, which is goals and practical scheduled milestones. A process to start turning each idea into a profitable and suitable output. Take steps to boost your business today. Call to action, start here. Yeah. Now start here. I don't even sell anything there. I actually have a page called Start Here. Okay. Again, I'm thinking this person has jobs, right? They have things on their mind already. So what can I do? I can try and accommodate for that. Of course, they're free to visit the rest of the website if they want, but Start Here. First of all, are you interested in free? Because there are going to be people who've arrived at my website just because they want something free. Not everyone wants to buy, right? So why should I jump in with a sale? I'd suggest you start with my blog. I have posts packed with useful information to help you get your business hat on. Right? Packed, not so much, okay? There's only a few there because I really want to do it free. I need them to pay, so it's not that many. But, still say packed, right? Do you want to work with me? Let's talk. Head to my coaching services page to get a feel of how you and I can make your business a success. Again, the job they want to do and the gain that they want. Want to participate in an interview or guest write a post for you? Sure, head to my press page for more details. And want to know what it's like to work with me? Case studies. Why? Because I know they already have questions. Let me just answer it. Okay, let me get it out the way. So my banner on my homepage is exactly that. I point out the job you've got to do and the pain you've got linked to it, the most important job you've got to do and the most important pain I work with. And I tell you the gain creators, the pain relievers, the solutions, the gain creators that I have. And then I say, I invite you to relieve your own pain with me. Okay. From that position onwards, most people don't even usually scroll. I know my heat mapping shows that a lot of activity happens here. People go there and then they go straight into free or coaching. Okay. So definitely, if you communicate well and effectively in the top half of any of your pages, you'll be able to guide people everywhere else. You don't really need to worry about whether or not people visit other pages. And I mean, I follow through the same principles. Let me see. I want to show you what we did in the last challenge. We've got half an hour left. I want to make sure I show that to you. Sorry. Right, so perfect. So in our last challenge, so the first challenge we did a homepage. But homepages are not easy, but they're easier. So for the last challenge that we did an about page, and the next one we're going to do a shop landing page, and we'll do as many pages as we can. But again, we're thinking business model, right? So first off, what happens is that we start with a blank page, and you know, I usually ask everyone like, what should we start off with? And you know, people come up with the fact that it's a web agency, by the way, that we use as an example. So first of all, they want people to know that they're very creative. They wanted a startup feel. They wanted that young techie kind of vibe. So the easiest, and that's obviously a byproduct, right, of working with the team. So the easiest way we did it was with that image. The image itself says we're young, or not young necessarily, but we're, you know, tech friendly. We're startup, we're Silicon Valley. We've got a t-shirt on. We get to work with t-shirts that have one word, okay? And then we've got the words here, simple. Now, this is where I was saying you can communicate with visuals, but also with text. So we decided to go with the 3 things that we thought would be most important to a client that visits our about page. So letting them know that working with us is simple, efficient, yet powerful. So simple, and again, we write all this live, and you know, as a team, kind of like, you know, because we're competing. I just want to say I always win, by the way, I always win. But we're competing with the other groups. We pride ourselves on clear communication, so you know exactly how far along your project is and when to expect the completed page. You see how that's covered the pain, right? We pride ourselves on communication because every client I've ever worked with website stuff always says, oh my gosh, Tonisha, it's so good that I can just talk to you, I can just ask you questions, that you listen to me, right? So communication. So you know exactly how far along your project is. Why? Because I don't want them calling me all the time and asking me questions. So I actually we would want them to know how far along their project is. So we're thinking they also don't want to be asking us all the time. They do, clients do, but you know, probably in an ideal world, they'd want to just be able to check it themselves in some way. And when to expect the completed page, right? So we wrote this in the session by thinking different pains and anxieties the client has, and how could we make it simple for them? Then for efficient, we decided, and we made these up, by the way, different teams had different things, like there were no rules. This is just how my team's page ended up being. Efficient, our team of copywriters, photographers, graphic designers, and marketing executives work with you to achieve your typo, obviously it was an hour-long challenge, business objectives. Now, obviously it was a challenge, we don't really have a team, but actually we usually do have a team in some way, right? So some of us will expect the client to come with everything, but some of us actually have started working with some freelancers who are good copywriters, who do good checks, and you know, we pass them a portion of the payment to do this and that. And of course, we don't all sit in the office and they're not on payroll, but that doesn't make them any less of our team. And for the client wants to know that they come to you and you may not necessarily have an in-house team, but you have access. And you could build a team to suit that project. All right. So that was kind of what the thought process was around that. And there were different people in the group. Some people were already running web agencies, some people were hobbyists, etc. But all of us agreed that actually that would be what would feel good for our client and would be something to build in, right? Even if it is just going onto Fiverr or Upwork or whatever it is. And then the last one, yet powerful, because people want things that are simple and efficient, but then they have trust issues. So this is where we thought we'd deal with trust, right? And saying yet powerful, it doesn't really matter what it was. We were going to say yet something. We're just going to say, but don't worry, it's still good. So we look after the technical aspects so you can do what you do best, running the business. Find out more about us below. Yeah. So we have covered a whole load of jobs that they need to do, pains that they usually have, anxieties, and we've given them all the gains. And now we're inviting them to scroll. Right? So again, what I was talking about in the beginning, using Elementor, not just to create a banner or create boxes or to follow the instructions of your client, but to think on behalf of that customer persona and what they need to do and what the anxieties are. Then we have here our customer profile that we put in, all right? We just put this in because we just thought, we were saying, you know, one of the members of the group was saying, one of the things that people, problems that people have when they come to a web creators, a web agency site or web creators website is they don't know if you work with new companies or established companies. And they think, oh, maybe I'm too new for this agency, right? You know, I'm still figuring out my idea, right? So we thought what we'd do, we didn't get to finish this little bit off, but that little bit there, because it was the last edition, even though we moved it quite high up. But we thought we'd go 44%, look, see, no, we didn't do that. 44% was going to be business, B2B, and 56 was going to be B2C. We're going to have a little thing saying new companies, right? Established companies. And then we went here, which is hilarious, because we were thinking again about pains and anxieties. Do they know what they're doing? Right? Does this web company know what they're doing? Do they know how to write copy? Will they understand my business and what my goals are? Will they understand what my anxieties are? So we've got 150 years of combined experience working on your project. Combined. So, you know, all together, we work together and our experience comes together. It is one, all right? So then we put a little story because people like stories. And this is from my film and television days, but storytelling is really, really important in web design and websites. So we've got a story here. On starting out, we found ourselves struggling with the complexities of both web design and enterprise development. The key that got us through this is embracing structure and planning as part of the creative process. Now, the truth is, this is everyone's problem. Everyone, when they start out, can't figure out web design and business model. Do I need a website? Should I be building my business? So this is not a unique issue. Saying it allows you to identify with the issues with the client, right? And acknowledging it and getting the elephant out of the room. What we learned from this journey is that we wanted to bring this to you. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Did I finish that sentence? Yeah, the key that got us through this is embracing structure and planning as part of the creative process. What we learned from this journey is that we wanted to bring this to you. So we didn't go on and on and on talking about ourselves. Why? Because the client doesn't even care. We know they don't really care. They want to know what about us is good for them. So of course, tell them something about us so they feel like they, you know, we got personal. But as soon as you can, always bring them into your story. So this is why I wanted to bring this to you, right? Since 1995, we have built a website design company that is laser focused on 3 core values. Again, using the right kind of words to make sure they know that you're not one of those web agencies that disappears, right? We're focused. Focus on customer success, obsessive and unwavering commitment to making customers successful. Focus on results, never-ending focus on delivering results through innovation and a bias for action. Strive for excellence, commitment to a collaborative environment infused with professionalism, integrity, passion, and accountability. Again, a paragraph on all your pains that you always get and how we have pain relievers. You won't experience these pains of us, right? Then obviously people usually get curious. They want to know, well, what have you done before, right? So we put they're not clickable because obviously it's not a real website, but we just put a fake gallery of our previous work. And what we were saying in this, and the reason it looks like this, not like standard portfolios, is we were saying that actually it always looks fake when you just have the standard static website. It looks a bit impersonal. And so we decided within the group that what we wanted to do, if we were a real agency, is that what we might do is load the websites we've built on different computers and take pictures of them on a tablet or on a phone or on an iMac, on a laptop, right? So you're seeing that this website I built is used in real life. Again, the anxiety, like, well, how does it work in real life though? Like, what if you build me a website and it's not user-friendly? Well, if you see this, and then this is actually one of my past pieces of work, you're gonna feel like, well, obviously it must be user-friendly. You see someone's hand scrolling the last website I built, it must be user-friendly, right? And then we thought, we ran out of time, but we also thought to put a testimonial. But rather than going with long testimonials, we decided to go with a massive image, a simple one-liner, and then making sure that we had the role of the person. We went back and forth on whether to have the name. I prefer not to have the name. I prefer to have the role and the location. Okay, I don't think anyone cares that this guy's called Mike Stewart. I think what they're gonna care about is that someone from the head of sales from a company based in America booked me, and then, you know, the senior, or the vice president of another company based in India worked with me, and then the trainer of another company based in South Africa booked with me, I think that's more prestigious than the fact that the person was called Mike Stewart.
Nisha,
Right?
I would say that any amount of information you can put there, until it's too much, offers the opportunity for an affinity. Because if my brother is named Mike or Stuart, I'm going to like this a little bit more than if Mike and Stuart are not listed there. And the other
Yes.
thing you can include in addition is sometimes geography can also produce the same affinity.
Exactly.
A location name, state, city, county, country.
Exactly. Definitely, I think location. So we decided the votes were in, we went with name and job, but I would have preferred, because we needed two, I would have preferred job and location. Because like you said, if your brother's called Mike, unfortunately, most people in the world don't have a brother called Mike. So, and a lot of people made that point, not necessarily a brother, but a lot of people like, but if I recognize the name, and I was like, well, my friend, I'm really sorry. Most of the wealthiest people in the world are not called Mike. They're just not. They're not called Western names. And a lot of times and I guess I'm lucky enough to be able to see this because I travel the world so much. But a lot of times, the wealthiest people have like the weirdest names.
Yeah, but they know Mike.
But they might know a Mike. I mean, I know a Mike.
They know a Mike. Everybody knows a Mike.
Well, everybody in America knows a Mike, Jim, but you never know because I just left Dubai and I didn't meet a single Mike. All right.
Well, they might have seen a Mike on TV.
Yes, you might have seen a mic on TV. That is very true. Very true.
They dropped the mic. They dropped the mic.
You might drop the mic.
Right.
But yeah, you can pick whichever things that you feel, but do it from the perspective of the actual customer. Like, remembering these pains and jobs and gains. Like, what do they want to know? Do they want to know that you're trusted by people around the world? Or do they want to know the name of the person? What is going to be more important to them as a credibility building metric? Because you don't want to do three things, right? Like, you don't want to do too much information overload. You definitely want to communicate positive vibrations, positive energy, positive feelings. But you don't want to then be like writing a paragraph long testimonial. You don't want to be giving all of the, identifying information about the person. People just want to know, do other people like working with you? And are they real? You know what I mean? So sometimes it can just be as simple as this. Anyway, so this is where we got to in our 1 hour challenge.
Can I ask you a question? Oh,
please.
Oh, sorry, it's been quiet. I gotta say. What about using video, like a real short video, like a GIF or I was thinking on the homepage, I saw one really brilliant website. The guy, he's on the front. I'm an artist, and I want to be the artist, like me, right out front. Like, here's me, and maybe drawing a little something, and then have an arrow where I'm pointing at my, go on this spot for. Look at my gallery. Here's where you can blog. Here, you know what I'm saying? Where I saw a guy do that once, and I thought, wow, that's a brilliant way to open up. But I'm kind of looking on here how to make it fast, how to make it so it would load fast enough, and finding stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, how loading time and things. That's definitely a technical issue that can always be resolved.
Yeah.
But of course, you have a slider of image. You can just have a slider of images.
Yeah.
Or you could have images that fade. But the idea of pointing is actually very, very good point that you brought there, because very often we should be looking in the direction of the information at the very least. So again, you'll see I'm positioned closer to this information. On this occasion, I'm not actually looking at it. I don't know if you realize, but everyone in the background is.
Right.
So whenever you have eyes is really a good idea. Or if you can point, it's a good idea to actually point people literally towards it.
Right.
The graphic designer I worked with on this site, he's actually a designer, come web developer. We were talking quite a lot about the header and the fact that we need to make sure someone's looking at this, but he really wanted to use this image. So we looked through all my event images to find an event image where people are looking in the direction that's required. So definitely if you can, try and do that. I mean, you'd have to really think about positioning, and then this becomes techie and Elementor.
Yeah.
Because depending on the size of the device, that pointing will suddenly not be accurate anymore.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe you can make a joke out of that. Like, well, this is a low budget website with somewhere up there, you know, something where you're kind of, you know, you're not being like around here. It's maybe down here. It might be up there, you know, like.
I mean, you could definitely put a GIF like you mentioned.
Yeah.
A GIF going like this or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And you kind of make a joke. Oh, this is Saturday Night Live. You know, Saturday Night Fever. You'd be like, staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive. And maybe have that in your, you know, have a little video. But I want to ask one of the guys that really, this $10,000 guru here, like, what do you have any suggestions on video? I mean, I'm looking it up right now. I guess just Google it. You know, like some people say, you know, don't use YouTube. Like, have it on your server, blah, blah, blah. Make it really compress it. Compress it.
No. Definitely host it off of your website.
Yeah.
Use YouTube.
Host it off your website because it's gonna put it on your server. It's gonna increase load time.
Don't use. You're saying don't use the website, right? Use YouTube, right?
Exactly.
Put your video on the YouTube channel and then draw it in that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
But not on your home page though, because that would make it slow.
If you're
No,
gonna
that doesn't make it slow at all.
Huh?
If you're gonna use if you're gonna put a video on your homepage, use it. Put the video on your YouTube page, and then put it in. Then draw from there. Insert it on your homepage for sure.
Okay, but just make it load last. Like yeah. Wait.
Breaking up.
Yeah.
Hold on. Try again. Breaking up.
But just make so the video, I read it so you should make the video load last. Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but she can't.
Okay.
It looks like she's having a little bit of a connection problem.
But to me, it seems like video is where everything's going. Like, you know, it was like when 2D animation was big, and then all of a sudden 3D came into place. It's like people want to see a video of the artist. They want to see him drawing. You know, they want to see the magic. You know, they don't want to see a picture. They want to see you moving your hand around on a. So you're not like a counterfeit artist. You're actually drawing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that's.
Yeah, you should do that.
But don't put it. But put it on your. But put it on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Frank Co. YouTube channel, and then draw it. Then load from there from a YouTube channel on your homepage, and then have yourself doing your thing on there and. Load it last, lazy load it. It really doesn't matter. I mean, it's gonna. I mean, when you're talking about load and last, you're talking about this much last. I mean, everything's loading super fast, and like she said, you can optimize your loading times with just. I mean.
Yeah.
That's not too difficult. I mean, you can talk to your host, or you can talk to somebody that specializes in page speed or something like that. But you can do that. And then the way I get the money, you asked about the money thing. The way I get the money is I charge monthly.
Monthly.
So I just do their sites, and I just do it for, like I'll just take care of everything on your website from now until, and it starts, once you sign the contract, you start paying me.
Yeah.
So I get paid before anything's even built. And
right.
They pay me like a reduced fee, like, between $500 and $1,000 per month forever.
Yeah.
So Tonisha, is
Even
that
after like 5 years, what's that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Joe?
No, I was just noticing the video she has on her page. Did you create that? You created that specifically for this site, but it's based on a lot of different things. It looks like it's got some CNN and et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So exactly. So again, thinking about the customer thinking, everyone's a coach or trainer nowadays. I'm actually not. I'm actually an enterprise educator, but because there's been so many new people who are doing something that sounds like what I do.
What are you now?
What
are you now? What do you say you are? You're not a coach, you're a what?
I'm an enterprise educator. That's actually what I actually am. Enterprise educator.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. It's kind of like a guy that says he's not a garbage man. He's a solid waste disposal removal.
No. As in, when universities recruit people like me, they recruit enterprise educators, and someone who's a coach would not be qualified to do my job. Right. I'm literally not a coach. I do coach, and I can coach because it's a portion of what I do. But I build curriculum. For example, if a company wanted to have, you know, their, in fact, one of the major things I do quite a lot is a lot of companies now, they're having their executives go through training, corporate training, but they want specific bespoke training that's built for the company. I build that.
Yeah, I would say you can think of it as like the Enterprise 500. Those are like the biggest of the biggest companies. So
Exactly.
It's a level of company when you refer to enterprise. That's what I think of.
Yeah, exactly. It's a level of company, exactly. But the point I was going to make is that, so because people the kind of people I want to come here, and I want them to understand what I want them to do, I don't want them to feel overwhelmed by what I do, but then I also want them to understand that what I do is not, like, it didn't start yesterday. So the video is just a mixed up of, like, for example, this piece of paper here, this document here is one of my products. This is at Sky. I don't know if you guys don't have Sky.
Sort of like ESPN.
Cable?
Yeah,
like
it's
ESPN,
like Time Warner,
cable.
ESPN. Yeah.
On cable,
Exactly.
we have Sky though. We have Sky channels on cable. I have it on.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so this is at
It's
Sky.
me.
So, you know, I do quite a bit of stuff with them at Sky. Just showing some products. Then some of the other bits is actually with my mic. Funny enough, Jim. My mic. There he is. Mike's walking in the room now. This is at Elementor. This is just before people have arrived. This is people arriving, so networking. So just trying to get, if someone ends up here, this is me doing some training and hosting, just so people can see the variety of things, so that if they're anxious and thinking they're my first client or they're the first person I've ever worked with, they can just get that out of the way. And I do pop those around, and that's what I was going to say, Frank. I do think video is very important. I don't think it has to have audio, and I don't necessarily think you have to make a big show of it, but I think having bits of video and having movement, like this slider, and then quite a bit away, we need movement, and having like a very thin line video. I think that's very important. So if you can find a way to put video on your website, or the website you were talking about, I think it would be very good.
Is that a theme? What theme is that you're using?
No, it's not a theme. This is
Just all.
This is all designed. Again, right? It feels like a theme because of the logic, but this whole thing, if you think about what I've been explaining to you, value proposition canvas, that's all this is. Homepage, I have home because people are used to it, but the rest of it starts here. Why? Because people get to a website, they don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Have we met instead of about me? It's like, have we met? Right?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, then it's work with me. If we go to have we met, it is the actual about me page. But under have we met is work with me, get in touch, and press. Here's the quote that Joe put on the thing: behind every focused woman is one hell of a story. Why? People only click your about button because they want to hear your story.
Yeah.
Right? Here's a piece of mine, because the truth is everyone only gives a piece of their story. Obviously a few, places people can find me, just because, again, with what I do, especially because it's usually with executives, there is a lot of credibility factors that they want in there. Then a little bit of information about me, in brief, and that's it. And then that's it, event partners, that's it, right? And again, just really giving people the things that make them feel comfortable. So I am an MBA lecturer for a number of universities. I am an award-winning videographer. I do have over 40,000 YouTube subscribers. I have been featured in all these newspapers. I have worked alongside Robert Greene and blah, blah, blah. Like, I do speak, do you know what I mean? Just like, if you want to know, like, just get it. Everything you want to know is there. And at one point I was like, regularly.
Do you mind me asking?
Go on, Frank.
Oh, just, so you didn't use a theme at all? So you just did that all from scratch?
Yeah.
Did you use a free theme even? You don't?
No, this is Hello.
Yeah. Just what?
This is, in fact, no, this is Astra. Empty Astra.
Yeah, I have Astra too, but you didn't use any kind of theme in that at all, huh? Or no free? Okay. All right.
I picked a couple of colors. I picked the teal, I picked the gold, I picked the white and the black. So teal, gold, black, and white is the whole site.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. And that's
looks good.
Thank you. But and even things like color washing the images to make sure that they're in the teal kind of vibration, teal and gold and things like that. Making sure we stick with a few fonts. And again, the reason I like to do things like that, which does make it look like my sites have themes. For example, this is the Web Creators Toolbox. This is the one we use for the Elementor London community. People have asked me as well about this, if this is a theme. It's not a theme. It's just pick a few colors, pick a style. That's it. And now focus on communicating the business model. So this is Hello. Again, we don't use conventional titles. So apart from home, meet the team, we've got events, toolbox, where we've got tools, tutorials, etc. Create a forum, which is basically just a forum. The news and the blog, and contact us, and that's it. And that's it. A few words and icons. A few words and icons and buttons.
Yeah, hello.
As long as you just pick a few colors and focus then on saying, I need to communicate this information across to people, the website will always come out really nicely.
How did you decide that you wanted to put the word home on your websites as opposed to thinking people know to click on the logo?
Because, so I used to only have the logo actually on, I think it was this one. I used to only have the logo and it was here. And people just kept saying, oh, you don't have a homepage button. So I thought, okay, I put a button. But again, this is why it's important to talk to people. So, but again, the question asked before, how do you validate and know what people like something? If they say they want it, just give it to them, because that's what they're here for. People are here for themselves. They're here for what they need. They can have it. As long as they're not making me commit a crime or, you know, break any of my like personal morals or, you know, beliefs about life or anything like that, it's not even an issue. I mean, I felt like saying, guys, we're elemental, like this is elemental. This is elemental. That we're web developers, we know we can press the home button, but just the fact that they wanted it, I was like, give it to them, you know? Why debate it? So yeah. So yes, so that's what's I think I showed you the other thing. So before we're just wrapping, but before we wrap, let me just, sorry, I thought my door just knocked, which is weird because I just arrived. Oh, it did. Have a look at this for a second and I'll be right back.
Okay. So what's everyone's thoughts so far? This is very interesting.
I'm liking it.
Yeah, who's recording this?
Joel.
I'm recording it. Yeah,
Joel?
we'll make it available afterwards. Yeah.
Because I'm too lazy to write all this down. I mean, not I'm too lazy, but it's just.
It's better to be engaged.
No, I mean, I can't write that fast and I scribble. So.
Right.
So sorry about that. They were just checking I'm okay.
Oh, no problem.
Customer service.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. So before we close, I don't want to keep you guys over time. This is the business model canvas by Alex. So this particular canvas is all about looking at your business, but also, again, it's something you can definitely use with your clients, right? So first of all, key partners. So again, if we revisit my site here, what you'll notice is that recent partners. Just any idea of partnership, again, is really good to communicate to the customer. But actually, just in general, when you're building a business, it's really good to think about who are the partners that you're going to need to have. For example, Elementor is a key partner for all of us, isn't it? But what else are the partners that we have? We need to think about our payment processes and things like that. And again, a lot of times the clients that come to us, they come to us for website development, but they haven't finished building out their business model, right? They probably don't even have a partner or haven't even picked any partners because they're busy being really singular about entrepreneurship and thinking that they can do it all on their own. And it's just a good time for us to be able to support our clients and say, look, who do you work with? Let's be serious. For example, in terms of that payment issue, having the PayPal button or the PayPal and the MasterCard logos there be useful, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So we want to be able to get them to think about the fact that these, they should be acknowledging who these people are, and they should be popping that on to the site. So who are the key partners? They should know that anyway, but then some of those key partners, it might be a good idea to communicate those particular people to the clients. Then activities, what do we do with our resources, but also what do we do in our company? Again, you'll notice that I dealt with that straight away, saying the key activities that happen working with me. Yeah. So again, a lot of times, web agencies will say, we're a web agency, we support, blah, 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 to but then they don't say anything specific. So you're like, I don't get it. Do they build the website, or do I build the website, or do they design the website? Like, I know they do something with websites, but what do they do? Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So being very clear and getting that clear information across so that people know what it is that they're going to get from working with you. What you do every day in your company, what your supply chain is. Do you offer refunds? How do you take payments? Do you do this? Do you do that? Right? Do you go through the planning process with them? Do you design the graphics? Do you do the copywriting? Do you not? Just tell them if you don't as well. Having those boundaries. Hold on, Ahmed just said something. I guess I've been missing bits.
He was sending
I've
it to
been missing
me.
quite a few.
He's sending them to me.
Oh, okay, cool. But I think I missed questions.
Oh, I think I asked a question sort of for the folks that may be a little newer to the business proposition. What would you say was your biggest hurdle at the beginning or getting started?
With Elementor or with entrepreneurship or with Elementor and
Entrepreneurship. So making that movement from just doing sites for friends to doing something on a more larger scale and more organized.
Yeah, organizing was actually what it was. You know, and then I realized I had like, okay, so yeah, my biggest hurdle was realizing that organization was the organization. I know it's gonna sound a bit weird, but stick with me. We call companies, businesses, etc. But one of the other words is an organization. And an organization is literally just organization. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Without organization, the organization itself doesn't exist. Just like without organization, a business, a company, and any other word that we choose to put in doesn't exist. And I was talking to someone, like I remember it was like, this wasn't with Elementor, this was back with WordPress. I think it was like about 5-6 years ago. And I was having this like marathon when I was like, I want to be able to build websites for companies, which I decided against now, by the way, but because instead now I train companies and entrepreneurs. But at the time I thought I wanted to open an agency. So I was like, I need to figure out how I can rapidly build websites over and over and over, and they'll always be good. And she, and this friend of mine, my neighbor, she was just like, well, why don't you just figure out how to organize it, right? And the whole idea of the fact that all I needed to do was be organized and have a structure and a plan, more so than the skills and a goal. Like the moment that kind of clicked, change everything. And that's why one of my my main product at the moment is it's called the Ultimate Enterprise Planner. It's actually a planner, because actually my biggest hurdle was realizing it was never going to be the skills or the relationships or anything else I had, because if I was not organized, there would be nothing there. So organization is the organization, and figuring that out it took a while. It took longer than it should have.
Awesome, thank you.
Want to hear a funny story?
Go on.
Well, I had a job as a graphic artist at this engineering firm, and my whole job was to make these little boxes and put people's names in it. And it kept changing so much. One time the owner of the company came and he tapped me on the shoulder, and I looked back at him, and I just gave him this look like, don't bother me. And he's like the owner, and I just kind of looked, I didn't know it at the time, but I just kind of gave him that look, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, like not now.
But anyway, but my whole job was to put people's names in boxes, and I kept having that someone else would come along and go, no, you got to change this box. And I'm like, this is my job.
Yeah.
This is my life.
But I'm sure it offered some sort of value, right? In terms of like the overall business process. And there are sometimes these kind of monotonous tasks that we have to consider in what we do as entrepreneurs. I think it's different for every business or every business owner, but like just knowing what it is that you will always have to do repeatedly and finding peace with it, and finding peace with the fact that that is part of that organizational process, or that is an organizational process. In fact, it is an organizational process. That monotonous task is the organizational process. The things that are exciting and they happen once or twice, or great meetings, great clients, those aren't organizational processes. They're like major, events, milestones. Organizational processes is things like,
oh, yeah.
Our pages always should look like this, and our clients always should see it like this. And then when the payment comes in, it always should be like this. And they're very boring.
Yeah.
They're very, don't touch me, I'm busy, I'm bored. But we need them. But yeah, that was the biggest hurdle. But again, it didn't hold me back. It just was more something that I hadn't realized, that if I had realized sooner, I would have been able to achieve more quicker. And now it's why I'm all about showing people how to be organized, how to organize thoughts, how to organize thinking processes, how to organize pages, how to organize websites, how to organize their clients, and things like that. So I'm just going to whiz through this really quickly because I know we're nearly done.
Okay.
And
then
activities, what do we do every day? Key resources. So go on,
No, I was
Joe.
going to say, and then if you could mention again that you're going to do your hackathon this week in case.
Yes, on Wednesday, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
thank you. I will do. So key resources in this canvas. And again, remember, you can use this for your own business. You can encourage your clients to use it for their business, or you can do it on behalf of your client's business. We're thinking, what do we need to have to do what we need to do? So key partners is who do we need to work with? They don't need to know that they're a partner. Like PayPal doesn't need to know that they're your partner. Just log in and make an account. But who do we need to have? Like without their existence, it would be a lot more difficult to achieve what we want to achieve in the minimum viable version, right? Then what are the activities we do every day? Then the key resources are what do we need to have to be able to do what we need to do every day? So I always say to think about these key resources in like 5 categories. So human resources, physical resources, financial resources, intellectual resources, and obviously digital resources like Elementor, Astra, Hello, etc. Okay? So thinking about these resources, and then again, is really important. Also thinking about it in terms of this, think about it for our own companies. But again, if we get our clients to think more about the resources that they use, then they'll be really good, because actually, again, I cover one of my most important resources in my header. So the only reason I'm doing this back and forth is just to show you how to translate that. Is like I literally say, using the science of creativity, because people want to know how. So, you might say, we work with Elementor, we work with the best process, we have the best computer processors, or we work with the best teams. Like one of these 5 resources, you could always think about talking, whether it's a physical resource, a financial resource, this obviously being an intellectual resource, right? What is a resource that you could really use to make your customer feel easy? But definitely plan them all out, because you should really know what they are and you should build on them. And this is ideal scenario as well as actual. Value proposition, obviously you just take this from the pain relievers and gain creators from the other canvas. Customer relationship is how do you want to interact with your customers? So I've opened this on my, on one of my Chrome ones that I've turned ads off on. But if I open this in any other place. Come on, stop it. You'll notice that there's a pop-up box. So we need to really think about the relationship that we want to have with our clients. What is the relationship that we want to have with them? How do we want to work with them? So this particular one, the client relationship, how do you want to interact with them? Do you want to use, did I get to the right place? It's not finished loading. Do you want to use email marketing? So you can see here, this is the type of relationship, right? Sign up to my form. Do you want people to call you? Remember, my whole Start Here page is also kind of dedicated to the kind of relationships I want to have. I don't mind having a free type of relationship through the blog. I don't mind having a writer relationship, a presenter relationship, a host relationship. I'm open to different choices. Not sure what's going on. Well, the internet's slow here for some reason. But you've seen examples anyway. So what kind of relationships you want to have, and then making sure that you try and build the relationship with the customer. I think my door just knocked again. Make sure that you try to build the relationship with the customer. So these are the different examples of different types of relationships that I try to build. But then here, I have the pop-up. And this pop-up is on the website and allows the customer to build their own relationship with me, to book a session, to look at services, to share a project brief, to make a payment, to request a call, and control their whole profile by themselves. Please give me 1 second.
Okay. I'm eager to find out what that plugin is.
I'd like to know as well.
Yeah, it's a lot more complex than a regular chat bot.
Which plugin?
Which one plugin?
The one that says power
Wait,
hour is back, and then it says
Oh,
book a
that's just a
session.
call to action pop-up.
So what?
It's just a call to action pop-up that you customized.
No, it's not actually. Very good point. So this is actually a tool called Visita. Sorry.
What's it called?
vCita.
Oh,
And
virtual
you set it all up
CTA.
in their website, but they have an integration with WordPress that allows it to pop up on your site. vCita.
Okay, like VCTA for call to action. Oh, CETA. Oh, okay.
CICA, yeah.
Oh, got it.
vCita. So that's the kind of relationship I want with my client. Is a bit like an Amazon relationship. Help yourself.
That's the most efficient.
Exactly.
Amazon gets your money so easy.
Exactly. And you know, sometimes clients would be like, oh, can I move the appointment? Can I do this? And I'm like, okay, yeah, well, now I have to open my calendar and I have to find a new time I'm available. Nah. They can go along, they can book their own session, they can do everything they want by themselves there. That's for the, you know, client, that's what I refer to as the client portal. So people can book there because I have different weekly sessions and strategy calls and quick calls. And then we have this really cool thing actually that we started called office hours, which is where my clients that I coach, the new entrepreneurs as well as the experienced ones, you know, most of the time we struggle to get that copywriter, graphic design, etc., right? And it makes life so much harder. So actually I loan my staff to my coaching clients for 20 quid an hour. And I call those office hours. So they can feel like, so they can have an actual copywriter, which is really good, a good copywriter, because I've vetted him, he works with me. And they can pay that price, and I know that he's working for them on that project. The graphic designer, the social media, I've got loads, and like it's really good. If I'm honest with you, I think it's gonna be the best thing I ever added to the business. To be honest with you, it's made a lot more than I thought it would because I didn't realize how many entrepreneurs just kind of are just shy to point out that they need help with something. You know, they'd rather like go and search online and hunt and then. You know, but a lot of people have also been burned. So they've had really bad experiences. So knowing that they're using someone you use, not someone you trust, there's a difference. Someone you use, I think adds something to it because I used to recommend people I trust and it didn't have the same effect. So yeah, we've got that. So people can book their hours and all those things by themselves. Yeah, channels. So what kind of channel? How will your customers find you and use your product? So again, something important to think about. And of course, on a website that translates easily as these icons on the top and, having contact number, address and things like that. So all the channels are right there. We always have them on the site anyway, but make sure the client or you has decided which channels you will use and making sure that they're set up. Again, Frank, can you see I've got a video banner there?
Yeah.
So that's all no sound. Customer segments, right? So the important thing with customer segment is first you need to know your customers. You need to be very specific, but actually you need to make sure that the website tells your customer that this place belongs to them. So most of the time people come to my website and they leave feedback. They'll talk about the fact that they found maybe they'll say, oh, for the first time I got there, it was a bit busy. I didn't know what I was looking for. But the fact that they say that shows that they were looking, right? Otherwise they wouldn't have noticed it was busy. Yeah, like there's a lot going on. But then eventually they find what they want and then they become very used to going to what they want. So sometimes as web developers, we try and tell our entrepreneurs to put less, less is more. And of course, in many ways, less is more. And technically all my products are the same thing, just pivoted. Yeah. But actually what I find is that if you know the customer segment and you talk to the customer segment, when they figure out the portion that's for them, they'll go straight to it all the time. They won't waste the time with the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? So the people that want office hours always just go for the office hours. People that want coaching always go for coaching. It always works out. So figuring out the customer segment and checking if the website communicates to that customer segment. So again, maybe at this point, feedback, like you mentioned before, Joe, getting people from that customer segment to actually test the website and say, look, we've got this new office hour thing up on the site. Can you go and I'll give you this voucher. If you can find it, you can have one office hour for free. Let me know how that process goes for you.
Well,
yeah?
I know you just landed, and I know we don't want to keep you too much longer.
No,
so.
I'm done now. That was it. We've just done that.
Yeah, I really appreciate your time. I'll open it up for quick questions as we finish. But why don't you tell folks about how they can, if they want to take this class with your meetup, when's the next one's going to happen, and what's coming next for you in terms of business? What are you looking to do in the near future?
Okay, well, Elementor London, if you pop that in Google, the first result is always our meetup.
Yeah, and I shared that link.
Um,
And you said one's coming this Wednesday, yeah?
Yeah, the 25th
Yes.
will be 10 a.m. our time. I'm going to it.
yeah, exactly. This one. 78 people already going. We've got 885 members in there now. It's cute. It's nice. It's growing. So that's that. It's not a class. It's an actual like hackathon / challenge thing. We literally have half an hour of, you know, the normal housekeeping things that we do, updates on Elementor, updates on the tool, introductions to people, where are you in the world, all of that stuff.
Can
and
you
then,
guys? Oh,
go on.
oh no, you're gonna say, and then I'll ask after you finish. You're gonna.
Oh, and then we do a little bit of an introduction to the business model canvas and the value proposition canvas, just for people who are new, like a reminder, refresher on it. And then we split for an hour into 3 different groups. And the groups tell the leader what to build. But then you also have really interesting conversations, like, because different people, like, you know, Jim mentioned earlier about why choosing the name Mike. People will put their points across, and I find I always learn something in it. So even though I'm the one following the instruction of the group, I'm always learning things. Like I learned that the other day one of the guys showed me, I think I was using the Unsplash. You know, Unsplash has a plugin for WordPress, right? So yeah, so I used the Unsplash plugin, and then one of the guys told us about another plugin, which I can't remember the name of now. Oh, Smush. That then smushes.
Yeah, that's WP Dev. Yeah.
Yeah, so during the process, people, you know, share information and they justify themselves with really good information. And I think actually it's the best way of learning Elementor, especially for newbies as well.
My question was, do you guys need? See, I'm more of an artist. I'm not really a designer. I'm just kind of learning, actually. But what if I just submitted all my images and my videos, and you guys make it into a smash with some artist's work? And I don't know, just a thought. Like,
you mean in what, as a challenge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So funny enough, that's actually a good thought. So we had our meeting recently, and we were saying that right now we're using a pretend one, because when we thought of it, we didn't know if it would be successful as a concept.
Yeah.
And so this is now our third. So we're going to finish December with the concept of the web creation agency, because we've done the homepage. Like I said, we're doing the about. We're going to do the shop page, and we'll do contract. But we're going to start in January with actually people putting forward ideas or their own kind of things and saying, look, I'm kind of stuck on this. I'd love to have my business idea be the challenge theme for whatever. And then we'll start scheduling them in.
Okay. But not for this one coming Wednesday. You got something planned?
Yeah. So Wednesday is going to be, because we told them all last time already that what we're going to do. So Wednesday and December are going to be landing page for Wednesday and contact page for December.
Oh yeah. All right. Okay.
But please email me though, because we can definitely do that for January. Like we haven't yet started to get in the ideas for 2021.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We're keeping the challenge process because everyone loves it.
You would love my art too. I mean, it'd be really funny to do something cool.
Cool. Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Do comedy art, yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So it sounds like you mentioned, is it a one-off, or do you suggest people do multiple sessions in a row to get get the full effect of what you're teaching?
I mean, the other day, Vito, what's Vito from? WP Elevation?
I haven't met him.
WP Elevation?
I have, but I haven't met him. I think I've listened to his podcast before.
Yeah, so he joined us the other day. Like we've had the rank math guys join us. So sometimes like people join us just for the one-off, but just for the exercise, the fun, I think.
Okay.
You know, they just hear about it and they're like, you know what? I'm actually free today, and I know that challenge is going on. I know they're doing that. So I think you're free to join for a one-off. I think you'll definitely get everything you need to learn in the one-off. I don't think
that was a question. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? For example, we've technically done a one-off of it today. We just didn't manually build a page. And I think even if today was all that anyone heard from me, I think enough would resonate, you know, and enough has been driven home. But the benefit of coming multiple times is the practice, right? The mental practice of it. And the fact that you don't actually have to click any buttons, you're just directing and saying, oh, I think this would be good and let's try that. But you're building relationships, you know, you're learning people's names, you're getting to know each other. It's a different dynamic to this, but similar to this, because in that everyone's kind of talking. So even though there's been a lot of talking now, if you think about it, if we were all trying to build a page together, you know, someone would be saying, no, I don't agree. And yeah, no, I think this, and there'll be a lot more conversation going. So people get to know each other a lot easier. And that's another reason people like it. So yeah, definitely, I'd say come as a one-off. And if you decide you want to keep coming, come along again.
Awesome. Yeah, I know I spoke at a Portsmouth meetup this week, and I go to the WooCommerce London group, and I was actually there a few years ago, so I feel like I'm an honorary.
Yeah. Like you should come to ours. Why you should come to
I'm
ours?
definitely going to be there, because this is, I think for me, and I think that's why I wanted to host you, is this is the next part of my journey. Yeah. So seeing what you've done and reading your bio got me really pumped up about having you. So good. I really want to follow through. So I'm definitely going to be there.
Good. I mean, I just read it for, good, because I'm you know, my thing, I think obviously I'm obviously trying to make people entrepreneurial, and I'm trying to make them revenue generating, do you know what I mean? Like, and not just a little bit, but, you know, having multiple revenue streams, creating that financial sustainability. I always think that people should be thinking more about the business model behind the creative ideas that they have, right? And people should be thinking more about how much more could be done, and thinking about, you know, where else in the world, or where in the world do these anxieties not matter? My anxieties, where do they not matter? So there's lots of places in the world. In fact, actually, like at the moment, quite honestly, most of the world where being a Black woman is like the best thing right now. But then there's also where it's not, you know? And if I'm gonna have an idea for my business or something I wanna do, I could easily give myself anxiety over the places where it's not convenient to be a Black woman. I could do that, but that's a get out jail free card. I could instead just pivot myself and say, okay, I'm going to promote my business in places where it is, right? But it's not just that. There are environments where, you know, in you know, business environments where it's not okay to be an academic. A lot of people in industry have a negative relationship with education, and they don't like lecturers. They think that people, you know, those who can't teach and those who can do. Right. But they honestly believe that in their heart. And for me, it's interesting because I became a lecturer after the doing, right? But it's irrelevant. Just hearing that someone's an academic makes them think, oh, then they just read books. And again, I could decide to use that as a negative perspective on myself, say, no, I could go forward. So if you think this is the next phase for you, and you can see the markets in which it would work, I think that's where you should position it, because, you know, there's always someone sitting in a room crying, literally, because they just can't get this thing, and you're the one holding them back from it because you're too anxious, or because you're too prejudiced, or because you're too lazy, right? Or because you're overconfident, or because you're too arrogant. They want the thing, and you've been blessed with it. So your responsibility, if you see it as a gift, a temporary gift right now, your responsibility is to share that with them, especially the one that wants to pay money for it.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have time for another question?
Yeah, this will be the last one. Yeah, let's wrap it up. So this will be the last one. Go for it.
Well, I'm using Join Me. Do you use like a screen share where you kind of walk them through? This Join Me, I'm using it through Bluehost, and it's brilliant. I mean, I love where you can, you know, they can kind of, you know, walk them through, because I found that's a big problem for people.
You mean when I build a site?
Yeah, or if you're like working with somebody and you kind of can help them to maybe learn to add up their own content or something.
Oh, no, what we do instead is we use Loom.
Loom?
Yeah, Loom.
All right.
Search Loom. We use Loom to screen record, make videos, then we load those videos as unlisted into YouTube. And then we pop the videos, in the wrong place. Then we pop the videos onto a dashboard. I can't remember what the plugin is now, but
WP
any
Video.
sort of plugin.
I think there's WP Video that does that too.
Yeah, no, I'm going to show you what I mean by the dashboard. The dashboard is like, you see when you log in and landing page on your dashboard on your website.
Yeah, there's a plugin called WP Video that I think it does what you're talking about. Yeah.
This?
All right.
Like this?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's on the dashboard when you log in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So that's what we do.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Loom is free. They have a free version.
Yeah,
Step up, but yeah, it's pretty nice.
exactly. So the beautiful thing is, like, James worked with me. James is a member of our Elementor London community. He's the designer that I was saying, graphic designer, come web developer. So what the clients really like is that we screen record the tutorial on their own website, so they know it's bespoke. So again, we remove those pains of thinking, oh, well, if it's just a generic tutorial, does it really work for me? So we actually show them the tutorials on their own. Even on all of my sites, I insist that my team, like, every piece of best practice in terms of organization, every piece of best practice that we deliver, we put in as like a standard process. So mine is exactly as organized and tidy as any other client that we would have. In fact, we usually test things on my sites first. But yeah, so we have a mixture of the ones that we do from here, but then we also still put up generic sites, and we'll share the link to whoever's video it is, whether it's by Ferdy or whoever, and the caption, so that they get the mix of the ones we've created. But obviously the fact of the matter is there's going to be people with amazing tutorials out there. So the ones that are relevant to them. So that we do that instead of using Join Me. We just do Loom. We upload the video to YouTube as an unlisted video so that no one can find that video. And we embed it in the dashboard page. Say welcome, hi to whatever the person's name is. Welcome to your WordPress dashboard. We've created this custom welcome screen for you. You'll find a set of videos on how to use your WordPress step by step, yada, yada. It's the same caption we use, we just changed the name. And things like that, quick start videos, and go from there.
Awesome.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you too, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Tonisha, for making time for us. I really appreciate it. You were traveling and you actually stopped in today, so that's really awesome.
Yeah.
You're so awesome. It's great to meet you finally. I know we've done this back and forth. We've been trying to connect for a while, but like I mentioned, I had shoulder surgery, so now was the perfect time.
Yes.
And I really appreciate you coming through and sharing.
No, thank you, and I'm glad you're better as well. It's
Yeah.
a terrible time to have any ailment, I think, at the moment.
I know. So great.
Okay.
Well, I'll let you get some rest. I'm sure you're probably wiped out. What time is it there?
Yes. I actually have an event coming up, by the way. No, I was just going to say on the 28th for websites. This is not Elementor. When you get to if anyone wants to see, I always have a schedule of events because I do these events for an organization called the British Library.
Okay.
So they pay me to do them. So they're subsidized, so they're free. And I think one of them is something like how to build a website for your business or something like that, how to build something to do with website and business. But it's on the 28th.
Okay. If you want to share that link with me, I'll go and try to find it. But if you have it handy, just send it to me and I'll share it with the group. When I put up the video, I'll share it as well.
Yeah, put it there. Just my website. It'll be there. It'll be the slider underneath the banner.
Okay.
But that's another opportunity if anyone wants to, have a go at Elementor, because I'm going to use Elementor in that one. Have a go looking at Elementor for business modeling. So I know that today I haven't really spoken about technical things to do with Elementor, but I do hope that when you guys use the blocks in future, or you're building your blocks and picking your sliders and picking your elements, that you can actually say to yourself, like, which pain am I relieving with this block? Or what, like if you're picking an image, what kind of gain creator can be embedded in this image? If someone's happy, maybe that's a gain that, your client would really like, is happiness, and things like that. And I hope that you can embed that in your process.
Awesome. Great. All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks.
So
Jim
much.
just shared it, I think. Yeah, shared the events page. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to leave you.
All right. Thank you so much. I will
Thank
be talking
you.
to you
Have
soon.
a great, see you soon. Have a great evening.
Have a great
Bye.
trip.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
All right, so I'm gonna finish up with a couple of slides and then we'll wrap it up. Thanks everybody for coming. So what did you think as I sort of share my screen for one final time? Go ahead and jump in and let me know what you felt about the presentation.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. A lot. Yeah, I'll just to text you any questions too. I liked the way she did her videos too, but like how to make them small enough. I was reading up on that, like scale those things down, or exactly how to make videos smaller.
Yeah. All right, let me share it here. Yeah, just have a couple of slides to share here.
But just too, how she just talked about, really think about your customer. You know, don't, you know, how you can help them get over their pain or their gain, you know, gain for them.
Yeah, I think most folks when they design a site, they really design it for themselves instead of for the client or the user. And to me, the way she broke it down into the pain points and trying to provide, you know, give, and usually, you know, most people think of getting one sale, but you really want those extra sales or those referrals. And that was really the biggest takeaway for me. Amit, what did you think? Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I actually like the way she repurposed her content. So exactly referring to what Frank mentioned, like you have content that you prepare well ahead of shooting or even editing the video. So she knew exactly where she wanted to focus. And when she was scrolling through that part of her webpage, that easily caught your eye. So that worked perfectly with her strategy, marketing strategy, and the way she designed it. So this was a very good experience for me to come and say hi to you, including everyone. Hello.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned you were aware of the business model plan that she was talking about.
Yeah. So I actually work with a lot of universities here in Bangladesh, and I help them with skill development and career mentoring before they actually graduate and they will get to their career. So last night I was in a university here in Bangladesh in a session where I was teaching them on business model canvas. So this was really exciting to see appearing in a WordPress perspective as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, so the first set of links that I showed were business related links from the WordPress, I mean the Elementor blog. Like they have some business focused topics in their monthly updates. So these are, I'll make these slides available as well. So these are quick jumping off points that talks about managing client expectations, deliverables, you know, creating the price guide that works for you kind of thing. So I always try to make these available and they're related to the topic. Here's a URL for the Elementor blog. You can also find information on the Elementor meetups. Again, the coolest thing is that these things are virtual now. It's made the world so much smaller. Like we have folks from all over the world sharing information. So that's one of the best things. And we're gonna have them a little more regularly now. Like I mentioned, I missed a month because I had shoulder surgery, but I've got quite a few people lined up and I want to bring in more guests to share very specific information on helping you build your business. These are a couple of YouTube channels that I really recommend. Elementor's channel is incredible. They have so many different specific topics on their tool. And these are two, Adam Pricer and Daryl Wilson are pretty prominent in terms of how-to videos. And I think I saw a couple on Tonisha's site from these two folks. So those will be in the slide deck as well. Here are some of Elementor's playlists on their site. So again, they have like a master class that sort of focuses on a specific topic. They have like speed art. So they have someone that really goes through a topic really fast if you want to just follow it visually. And then they have all different flavors in between. Again, these are some topics on their template kits. They usually come out with one every month that helps you get a head start on building your sites. And the next month, I'm really excited, and I know Lee's gone, but we're going to have Verity Hines, who's one of the main folks at Elementor. He's a global community leader. He's going to come in and answer any questions you have on Elementor. So this is going to be a great opportunity to learn about where the product's going, new features, and things of that nature. So that's going to happen in a couple of weeks as well. So,
Sweet.
All right. So with that, if there aren't any other questions or comments, I'll see you next time. Thanks again to Steve Kinsey for making this Zoom link possible. That's such a great thing. You know, we go back to Michigan, we're connected there, but I really appreciate you making this available to all the members. That's really awesome that you share with the community like that. And I hope everyone had a great time, and I'll see you next month.
All right, Joe.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ahmed, too, and welcome from to Bangladesh. Farthest
Thank you.
person here. Anyway, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Have a good Thanksgiving for those in the States.